we're getting the first trends. So if I can just have Surjeet Bhalla walk with me to the Insta trackpad as we explain to our viewers what to look out for, because when these numbers come, you should be on top of the game and understand what is happening. So welcome to the Insta trackpad. There are 4 states where elections have happened. If I can just have that camera coming down and brought closer to the screen so that our viewers can see, I will explain what are the things to look out for in Delhi first. So let's look at Delhi. In Delhi, here are the factors we're looking at. If the camera can zoom in, you've got areas where Rahul Gandhi went out in campaign. There are rallies where Sonia Gandhi went out. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, remember, didn't campaign in Delhi. Then we're looking specifically at New Delhi. Okay, let's just take you through this one by one. So, for example, we'll be tracking what happens in rallies that have been taken out by Rahul Gandhi. And we'll actually look at the strike rate for each of the candidates. So, when Rahul Gandhi went out and campaigned for his party, did it at all make a difference to the Congress's fortunes over there? Then we'll also be looking at New Delhi. In New Delhi, we'll be tracking on a real-time basis the vote shares for Kejriwal, Vijender Gupta and Sheila Dikshit. So you will know on a real-time basis who is leading in New Delhi at what time. Then we're also looking at sitting MLAs separately. The sitting MLAs from both the Congress and the BJP who've been given tickets, what sort of a strike rate are they reflecting? Are they holding on to their seats or not? Separately, we'll be looking at the Muslim-dominated areas where this time the Janata Dal United has put up candidates. There have been independents. There have been some anger against the Congress's choice of candidates in these areas. We're looking also at the Sikh-dominated areas where the BJP has tied up with the Akalis to put up candidates. Then the Purvanchali areas where the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party both are hoping to make a big factor. Then we're looking at AAP. In the Aam Aadmi Party seats, we'll be looking at whether the Aam Aadmi Party is damaging the BJP more or the Congress more. So that is Delhi, and we've got a similar breakup then for each of the states separately. We've got these maps which will show you, so those maps will show you how the trends are and which are the pockets of concentration for both the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress and the BJP. Then we've got vote share, seat share. Those figures of course will start coming in after 2 p.m. So that's the way we are breaking it up. We'll have Surjeet Bhalla, Vir Sanghvi, Shiv, Viswanathan helping us understand the numbers at the Insta trackpad. We'll come back here. The initial results are coming in from Madhya Pradesh where the Congress has registered 1 lead. Very, very early days just yet. But we'll go back to the Insta trackpad and get some numbers. For the moment, let me just go across once to Maruk and get a sense of the anticipation at our political desk as we wait for these numbers to start coming out, Maruk.
Thanks so much, Rahul, and clearly there is anticipation here. Nalini Singh, first trends in, it's too early. Like we're saying, Madhya Pradesh is having that lead. Congress, it seems, interestingly, has that lead, but of course, very, very early right now.
It is early. As we were just discussing, it's probably indicative of 1% of the votes that went, that were polled in Madhya Pradesh. But I think there are some leads for Chhattisgarh from, on Twitter, and I think BJP seems to be. It's 2-1, but it's early for me to say that unless you confirm it. But 2 for BJP, 1 for Congress, and 1 for Congress in Madhya Pradesh. So it looks as if nobody is demolished if you've got the Congress coming along. But I think that what we are able to judge will be whether these are whether Delhi is going to be the microcosm that we have been talking about, and I really don't think it is. We have been giving too much attention to Delhi, and that this is the one that's going to determine. It's not like that.
Okay.
And I expect
Javed, quick comment from you.
We are concentrating so much on Delhi because of the personalities involved. There's Arvind Kejriwal. He's the bomb in the basement. He's added that X factor to these elections. There's Sheila Dikshit. So that's the reason. But yes, I agree with Nalini. I would be very interested in knowing what happens in Chhattisgarh, because that's where the real contest is. By all indications, Vasundhara should form the next government. Shivraj Singh Chauhan appears to be on a fairly comfortable wicket. But I'd be very interested in knowing what happens in Chhattisgarh. And Raman Singh's demeanor till yesterday didn't exude too much of confidence. So let's look at how
as far as Chhattisgarh and Delhi are concerned, that's where the Congress is still hopeful. I mean, from the high sources that you get within the Congress party, as far as Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh is concerned, they pretty much accepted defeat. They might not say it on camera, but Chhattisgarh and Delhi, that's the two hopefuls for the Congress.
Yeah, and on the face of it, those are the two more interesting. But you can actually flip it and say that actually makes Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan all the more interesting. Because if we were to see, say, a surprise or a shock there, that's where the reverberations will be felt more strongly, because everybody has already more or less accepted that Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan are going to the BJP. If for some reason they don't, and we don't have any evidence at this point to suggest that, that really would be a fascinating outcome.
Maruk, can I say that there are two leads and they're both going to Congress in Madhya Pradesh at the moment?
Okay, two leads. Quick update there from Nalini Singh. Well, we have each of our experts here, and Javed as well. They have their favorites. They're looking at each state. But Prashant Bhushan, we've been talking about the Aam Aadmi Party, and clearly no one can deny that as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, they have excited the votary, they've excited the political forum, as one might say, the political scenario. Prashant Bhushan of the Aam Aadmi Party joining us. We just heard from Arvind Kejriwal. He's talking about how the BJP is already approaching some members of the Aam Aadmi Party. Prashant Bhushan, uncertainty this morning?
Well, that is always an area of uncertainty, but it's been probably more stressful for some of our other people who have been more involved in the election campaign than I have been. But whatever they would be, I'm sure that they would be pretty good for the party. So therefore, I'm not too stressed about it myself.
But clearly, Mr. Bhushan, you must be very, very happy with the impact that your party has made. We don't know about the showing, but impact definitely has been there. You've generated a lot of interest.
Yes, I think it's been a very exciting and very interesting beginning of a new kind of politics in this country. When we started out initially, we were kind of written off, particularly by the major political parties who thought that we couldn't stand up to them in this kind of electoral politics, because they thought that this game can only be won by a lot of money and muscle power and all this distribution of cash and liquor at the time of the elections, apart from playing divisive kind of politics and creating vote banks on caste and communal lines. They never thought that a party which is built on only clean money, which does not have much money, and which practices totally clean politics, non-divisive, raises genuine issues, would not be able to stand up to them in electoral politics. But I think that myth has been broken, and a lot of people across the country, and indeed from around the world, a lot of NRIs also came very excited by seeing this new beginning in Indian politics which was being made, and which seems to have made a major impact on the voters in Delhi.
No, but Mr. Bhushan, while many have pinned their hopes on the Aam Aadmi Party, there is a feeling amongst many, especially political pundits, where they say that, you know, if the Aam Aadmi Party is not able to form the government, which might be a tall claim by any standard at this point, then perhaps many who voted for your party will feel that it was a waste.
No, I don't think so, because it very rarely has happened in the history of Indian politics that a new party, which is just 1 year old, particularly a party which is wedded to a new kind of politics, which is seeking systemic changes rather than just a change in government, is able to come out and get so much support. I mean, we witnessed unprecedented support, particularly among the young people, and in this party they see a new hope for a new kind of beginning in the political history of this country.
No, but also, Mr. Bhushan, the Aam Aadmi Party yourself, and we heard Mr. Kejriwal speaking this morning, and he very clearly said that as far as the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, there's going to be no truck with either the BJP or the Congress Party. But it has been seen in the past that many of your leaders have kind of moved out of the party, changed their mind. In case of a hung house, does that possibility exist within the Aam Aadmi Party to change their mind and perhaps go with one of the other parties?
Yeah.
You see, this party has been born because of a realization that these two parties, in particular the Congress and the BJP, and indeed most of the major political parties in this country, have been practicing a kind of politics which is destroying this country. And therefore, and they are not willing to listen to the voice of the people who were asking for this Jan Lokpal, yet they didn't bring it, in the belief that half of them would go to jail if this kind of robust, independent anti-corruption agency was created. And they thought in their arrogance that nobody, no honest party or no honest group of people can defeat them in electoral politics. Therefore, the people who have supported our party are the people who do not want any truck with the BJP or the Congress, and who want to see a new kind of politics in this country. And therefore, we would be betraying that trust which the people have reposed in us if we support either a Congress or a BJP government.
Prashant Bhushan of the Aam Aadmi Party, thanks so much. Rahul, it seems that every party, BJP, Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party, seems to be very confident this morning. They're very calm, but as the trends are coming in, we're going to see that attitude changing. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Maru.